In the whimsical realm of the enchanted Pixie Woods, there resided a band of mischievous brownie sorcerers who were renowned for their knack for causing chaos wherever their tiny feet trod. These pint-sized troublemakers had an unquenchable thirst for pandemonium and were perpetually entangled in mischief. Their ringleader, the nefarious brownie lord Stpixies, was a particularly peculiar character. With a temperament as foul as a skunk's perfume and a habit of muttering incantations under his breath, he had a knack for transforming unsuspecting critters into hopping amphibians inadvertently. Amidst the ethereal beauty of the Pixie Woods, where iridescent fireflies danced in harmony with the whispering leaves, the mischievous brownie sorcerers roamed freely, their capes billowing behind them like miniature storm clouds. Each member of this impish troupe possessed a unique talent for mayhem. From brewing potions that turned broomsticks into chatty parrots to casting spells that made puddles spring to life and perform synchronized dances. As night fell over the enchanted forest, the air crackled with magic, and the mischievous brownies would gather around their leader, Lord Stpixies. His eyes gleamed with mischief as he plotted his next diabolical scheme, while his trusty wand hummed with untold power. With a cackle that sent shivers down the spine of even the bravest Stormpixie, Stpixies would set off on his nightly escapades, leaving behind a trail of bewildered woodland creatures and puzzled sprites. In the whimsical realm of Stpixies Geyser, there resided a mischievous imp named Ignatius, known for his penchant for chaos and mayhem. One fateful day, as he lounged beneath the bubbling geyser, a dastardly scheme began to brew in the depths of his devious mind. Ignatius envisioned unleashing a horde of brownie zombies upon the unsuspecting Pixie Woods, their decaying flesh and foul odor sure to sow fear and pandemonium in the once peaceful forest. With a wicked glint in his eye and a cackle that echoed through the geyser's mist, Ignatius set his plan into motion. He knew that to bring his twisted vision to life, he needed the support of none other than Lord Stpixies himself, the current ruler of the geyser and all its inhabitants. Ignatius, being a master manipulator with a silver tongue, if imps had tongues or silver, approached Lord Stpixies with an air of false humility and feigned loyalty. He spun a tale so convincing, filled with promises of increased chaos and entertainment for all the denizens of Stpixies Geyser, if only they were to unleash the brownie zombies upon the Pixie Woods. Lord Stpixies, intrigued by the prospect of such pandemonium and eager to see his realm enlivened by chaos, was swayed by Ignatius's cunning words. With a nod of approval and a stroke of his majestic beard, which was more like a patchy tuft of moss, he agreed to Ignatius's nefarious plan. Under the malevolent guidance of the imp, Ignatius, the brownie lord, set about bringing his plan to fruition. Stpixies knew he needed to transport an army of undead minions without alerting the vigilant Stormpixies who safeguarded the enchanted realm. With a cackle that echoed through the moss-covered trees, he concocted a whimsical plan to tunnel secretly from the geyser's depths to the heart of the Pixie Woods. However, there was one snag in his grand design: the lack of shovels to dig his clandestine passageway. Undeterred, Stpixies' eyes gleamed with mischief as he realized he could harness the mystical thermal power of the geyser itself to fuel his apocalyptic infernal machine. With a wave of his wand and a sprinkle of techno-dust, he set off on a quest through the fantastical realms in search of the elusive digging tools. In a whimsical world where wily imps weave wicked webs beneath bubbling geysers, Stpixies hatched a heinous scheme to unleash a legion of lurching brownie zombies into the peaceful part of the Pixie Woods. To elude eagle-eyed Stormpixies, he plotted to tunnel from the geyser using magical shovels powered by thermal energy, spreading strife and confusion in his wake. In a whimsical land not too far from here, where pixies roamed and brownies burrowed, a peculiar incident unfolded. Picture this: tiny pixies, no taller than a beer bottle, with wings shimmering like spun sugar, stumbled upon a geyser in the heart of the enchanted forest. But this was no ordinary geyser. Oh no, this geyser erupted with bubbles that sparkled like rainbows on a sunny day. These bubbles were so mesmerizing that even the squirrels stopped their nut gathering to watch in awe. Lo and behold, these bewitching bubbles not only beckoned the curious eyes of the fairy folk, but also unveiled an unforeseen sight: sinister syndicates of sneaky brownies burrowing beneath the bosky bed. The bustling burghers, busy baking bountiful berry pies and tending to their verdant vales, swiftly sounded the signal. They knew precisely whom to summon, the squad of striving Stormpixie stalwarts. As word spread through Pixiewood Forest like wildfire, or rather like a wildfire created by an overzealous firefly, a strange storm began to brew overhead. Thunder rumbled ominously as bolts of lightning danced across the darkened sky. The winds picked up speed, swirling leaves and twigs into a whimsical frenzy. Was this Mother Nature's way of scolding the meddling brownies? Or could it be the arrival of Stormwing, the elite Stormpixie warrior known for her dramatic entrances and impeccable fashion sense? In a whimsical world where wonders waltz with weirdness, the scene is set for a spectacular showdown unlike any other. Will the mischievous Stormpixies muster their magic in time to thwart their foes' fiendish plans? Or will calamity collapse upon them like confetti at a carnival? Only the tick-tock of time will unveil the outcome in this enchanting tale of bubbles, burrows, and one particularly posh Stormpixie. Amidst the enchanted forest, where shadows shimmy and whispers waltz on the wind, there dwells a dashing and daring Stormpixie known far and wide as Stormwing. With shimmering wings that glint like spun silver under the moon's tender gaze, Stormwing is not just any pixie. She is one of the elite emissary of the Stormpixie squad. Her mission? To relay a crucial message concerning the nefarious brownie necromancers lurking in the shadowy depths of the forest. As dusk descends like a velvet curtain upon the woodland stage, Stormwing takes flight, her silken scarf fluttering behind her like a banner of bravery. Through twisted thickets and tangled treetops she zips, her laughter tinkling like chimes in a summer breeze. Finally, she alights upon a moss-covered stump where her fellow pixies await, their eyes wide with wonder and worry. With a twirl and a flourish, Stormwing delivers her urgent missive, her words weaving a tapestry of tension and tenacity. Yo, listen up to this tale of old, where brownie necromancers are so bold. Ancient foes of the pixie folk, from deep within the earth, they awoke. Their dark magic threatens the enchanted land. Unraveling the forest, shadows grow and expand. To the rainbow geyser, Stormpixies must dash to defend their home with a lightning flash. In the whimsical wonderland of the enchanted forest, where moonbeams meld into marvelous fabric and starlight serves as a sought-after currency, a mischievous multitude of brownies brewed up a brazen blueprint to seize control of the mystical realm and its magical denizens. Their latest lark entailed tunneling from the geyser of Spattergizzard to the forest's beating heart, utilizing pilfered technodust purloined from the ingenious inventor Gina Gadget. After being discovered by a group of curious pixie townsfolk, the brownies accelerated their digging, fueled by an endless supply of sugar and spite. In the tunnel, aptly named the Burrow of Bane, a race against time began to take shape. Twinkling lanterns made from the shells of fireflies and a soundtrack of eerie, whispery chanting became a necessity. In the mystical meadow where magic and machinery meld melodiously, lies the whimsical Stormpixie compound within the enchanted forest. This compound is a fantastical fusion of nature's wonders and pixie ingenuity, where tiny tinkering tools and mystical contraptions coexist in perfect harmony. One fateful day, as the storm clouds gathered ominously above the enchanted forest, Commander Zephyr and the Stormpixie squad, renowned for their valor and voracious appetite for heroic lore, were tasked with delving into a devious deed going down at the Rainbow Geyser and deterring the dastardly designs of the mischievous brownies. In a whimsical realm where Stormpixies reign supreme, these pint-sized warriors don armor that's as light as a cloud yet tougher than dragon scales. Picture them prancing through meadows with armor so delicate it could make a fairy jealous, all while being impervious to the fiercest of foes. And oh, let's not forget their trusty miniature whips. These tiny terrors pack a crack, firing faster than a sneeze spell cast by a wizard with hay fever. Imagine the chaos when these whips are dual-wielded, turning Stormpixies into a flurry of firepower that would make even the bravest knight quiver in their shiny boots. But wait, there's more enchantment to behold. Each Stormpixie boasts a personal energy shield that's not just for show. These shields can meld seamlessly into their already ethereal armor, creating a defense so impenetrable it'd make a fortress blush. Or, if they fancy a bit of flair, they can wield these shields independently, swatting away attacks like an annoyed cat batting at a pesky pixie. The irony. With their magical finesse and technological marvels combined, these whimsical warriors are ready to take on any challenge that dares cross their path. As the quirky group of pixie townsfolk sauntered through their daily whimsical rituals, a handful of them stumbled upon the entrance to the Burrow of Bane, which had been about as inconspicuous as a neon sign in a dark cave, thanks to the brownie builder's knack for subtlety rivaling that of a clumsy ogre trying to tiptoe through a field of squeaky toys. In a scene straight out of a fairy tale gone awry, the unsuspecting pixies found themselves face to face with what they thought was a colossal toadstool, but turned out to be the not-so-cleverly disguised entrance to the Burrow of Bane. The brownies, notorious for their lackluster attempts at concealment, had once again managed to bungle their efforts at keeping their secret hideaway under wraps. With their curiosity piqued, the pixie townsfolk peered into the tunnel, revealing a labyrinth of twisting passages riddled with zombie brownies. They had uncovered the tunnel to the brownies' secret lair, and it was only a matter of time before the reports reached the Stpixie squad and the face-off against the forces of darkness would begin. Commander Zephyr and her squad of sprightly Stormpixies embarked on a fantastical journey to apprehend mischievous rascals and restore tranquility to the enchanted forest. Their adventure led them to the whimsical geyser of Stpixies, where they encountered peculiar obstacles along the way. As they ventured closer to the geyser, they were swarmed by colossal mosquitoes, each capable of carrying a Stormpixie away. These monstrous insects would sink their proboscis into their victims with a vengeance. Not one to back down from a challenge, Commander Zephyr rallied her troops and purchased magical electric guitars from Mythalel, the guitar-wielding wizard who resided in this curious land. With these new instruments in hand, the Stormpixies strummed and plucked away, playing ridiculously catchy tunes that bewitched the mosquitoes. The melodies were so absurdly captivating that the mosquitoes couldn't help but dance uncontrollably, allowing our heroes to pass by safely. Further along their journey, they faced treacherous terrain, resembling an explosion in a marshmallow factory. The gooey mess threatened to swallow them whole, but ever resourceful, Commander Zephyr and her squad used their guitars as makeshift paddles to navigate through the sticky chaos. As they continued their journey, they stumbled upon Mythalel once more. This time, he challenged them with his most outrageous musical performance yet. Tunes so ridiculous that they caused people to speak in Limerick. The Stormpixies quickly realized that they must match his silliness with their own musical prowess. They joined forces with Mythalel and created an absurdist symphony of epic proportions. In a whimsical twist of fate, the Stormpixies hopped onto their electric guitars, which magically transformed into hoverboards, zipping through the air with rockstar flair. Stormwing, the elite pixie warrior, unleashed bolts of lightning from her fingertips to zap any pesky mosquitoes daring to interrupt their airborne escapade. With a blend of musical finesse and tactical acumen, the Stormpixies skillfully navigated the perilous terrain, growing ever closer to reaching the elusive geyser, ready to confront the brownie sorcerers. Little did they know that Stpixies, a peculiar character residing in a doorless and windowless log cabin deep within the enchanted forest, was plotting an ambush out of sheer exasperation with their mischievous antics. Stpixies, fueled by a relentless thirst for dominance over the mystical geyser, led his syndicate in a bizarre quest for power within the enchanted realm. As night fell over the forest, an otherworldly showdown loomed on the horizon between the audacious Stormpixies and the enigmatic Stpixies. As the Stormpixies zipped through the forest on guitar hoverboards powered by unicorn tears and techno dust, a sudden eruption of magic burst forth from the geyser like a cotton candy cannon at a clown convention. Unbeknownst to them, Stpixies, the notorious brownie necromancer with a penchant for dramatic entrances, had concocted a diabolical plan involving surprising the Stormpixie squad en route, sprouting wings, and knocking Commander Zephyr into the quick mud. Deep in the heart of the Rainbow Geyser, the Pixie Wood Syndicate, this motley crew of mischievous brownie sorcerers, led by Stpixies, who had an uncanny resemblance to a disgruntled cactus, decided to preemptively attack Commander Zephyr and the Stormpixies to prevent their impending intrusion on the Rainbow Geyser. As the Pixie Wood Syndicate appeared, Sergeant Ember at the front of the squad found himself momentarily befuddled. as if he had just been hit by a spell that turned his socks into mischievous Martian moray eels. But in the blink of an eye, he sprang back to life like a phoenix on a caffeine high and dashed towards the heart of the commotion, kicking off his slithering socks. With the valor of a unicorn jousting a dragon and the slyness of a quickling playing hide-and-seek with a troll, Sergeant Ember dove headlong into the bedlam, his spirit ablaze like a disco ball at a wizard's rave shooting through a black hole. He pinpointed the conundrum faster than you can say abracadabra backwards, arbatacarba, and rushed into the fray, incinerating zombies in a field of pumpkins with his fury. Amidst the chaos, Stormwing decided it was the perfect time to show off her electric disco moves as she engaged in an intense skirmish against the notorious brownie sorcerers. She orchestrated the pandemonium with such finesse that even the most graceful flamingo would stop mid-dance to applaud. Stormwing deftly guided her lightning bolts through a storm of rainbow-colored thunder and glitter bombs made from organic sparkling dust that sang lullabies to anyone who dared see it. She quickly unleashed a dazzling light show that made the battlefield look like a rave thrown by Zeus himself. The Stormpixie, fueled by their unwavering bond and a secret stash of enchanted energy drinks, stood firm, ready to take on whatever absurdity came their way. Spattergizzard's spellbinding wing growth. At the pinnacle of pandemonium, Commander Zephyr and Spattergizzard found themselves entangled in an absurdly audacious altercation, more tumultuous than a tussle between two testy turkeys over a tantalizing trinket. The scene unfolded like a whimsical whirlwind, with Zephyr and Spattergizzard locked in a wing wrestling match that rivaled the erratic flapping of befuddled bats in a boisterous barn. Spattergizzard, known for his eccentric enchantments and mystical maneuvers, decided to turn the tables on Commander Zephyr by conjuring a spell to sprout wings of his own. With a flick of his wand and a cacophony of cryptic incantations, Spattergizzard's arms were suddenly adorned with magnificent wings, shimmering with iridescent hues that seemed to defy the very laws of nature. As Zephyr gawked in astonishment at her newfound feathered foe, the stage was set for an even more outlandish encounter. The clash between the winged warriors escalated into a spectacle of surreal proportions, with feathers flying in all directions and the air crackling with arcane energy. In a dizzying display of dexterity and daring, Zephyr and Spattergizzard engaged in an aerial ballet that would have put even the most seasoned sky dancers to shame. Their movements were a mesmerizing blend of grace and grit as they soared through the sky like a pair of mischievous magpies engaged in a high-stakes game of avian acrobatics. The onlookers gasped in awe at the spectacle unfolding before them, unable to tear their eyes away from the fantastical feud playing out in the heavens. It was a showdown unlike any other, where magic and mayhem collided in a cacophony of chaos that left all who witnessed it spellbound. As they clashed in midair, their brains working harder than a squirrel trying to remember where it buried its acorns, Spattergizzard pulled out all the stops. With the help of 3 mischievous brownie sorcerers armed with wands made of gemstones, runes, and glitter, they unleashed a spell so potent it could make a unicorn blush. In an instant, Commander Zephyr found herself taking an unexpected mud bath in the bubbling pits below, courtesy of Spattergizzard's magical mischief. In a realm where Stormpixies and wizards roam, Sergeant Ember, sensing the peril of the moment, decided to channel energy from the volcano at the geyser's depths, shouting aloud, "May our legacy be written in stars and spells!" He then dove headfirst into the chaos. With a dramatic flash, he swooped in just in time to save Commander Zephyr from certain doom. Amidst the befuddled Stormpixies trying to untangle the turmoil, they were stunned once again by Spattergizzard's sudden disappearance back into the shadows, leaving behind a vial teeming with a mysterious purple potion. Just as mighty Maxine, the mysterious and magical Stpixie with unparalleled powers of prestidigitation and perception, reached for the vial, the enigmatic wizard Zephyrus materialized mysteriously and murmured a grave warning about the vial's vile pure evil contents. In the enchanted forest where sentient daisies sway to the tunes of mischievous pixies and brownie sorcerers plot sinister schemes, a warning from Zephyrus ruffles the delicate balance of magic. The mere mention of a released potion threatens to throw the entire enchanted forest into uproar, like a tea party gone awry with flying saucers and dancing spoons. The Stormpixies, renowned for their valor and resilience, found themselves in a predicament of peculiar proportions. Clad in armor embellished with their prestigious insignia, they stood tall, ready to face whatever challenges came their way. Little did they know that mischief was afoot, in the form of the notorious Lord Spattergizzard. Lord Spattergizzard, a creature of eccentric tastes and a penchant for pandemonium, gazed upon the Stormpixes from afar with a mischievous glint in his eye. With a flick of his wand, he sent forth a bolt of chaotic energy that scorched off the symbols adorning the armor of the unsuspecting pixies. The once proud insignias now lay smoldering on the ground, much to the dismay of the valiant warriors. As the realization of this absurd act sank in, the Stormpixes felt a mix of bewilderment and fury bubbling within them. How dare Lord Spattergizzard defile their sacred symbols with such reckless abandon? The very thought of it added fuel to the fire burning in their hearts. But Lord Spattergizzard was not one to be easily thwarted. With a cackle that echoed through the enchanted forest, he danced gleefully amidst the chaos he had wrought. To him, order was but a dull concept, meant to be twisted and turned for his own amusement. And so, as the Stormpixies gathered their wits and prepared to confront this whimsical foe, they knew that they were in for an adventure unlike any other. With their symbols scorched but their spirits unbroken, they set off on a quest to reclaim what was rightfully theirs and put an end to Lord Spattergizzard's antics once and for all. In a whimsical whirl of enchantment and gadgetry, the Stpixies set off on a bold escapade to foil the mischievous schemes of the brownie sorcerer and bring harmony back to the enchanted pixie woods. Delving into the unfathomable depths of a geyser that defies all laws of sense and sensibility, they stumble upon a realm where the ordinary is extraordinary, where up masquerades as down, left dances with right, and dryads serenade under the moon's watchful eye. As they navigate this topsy-turvy domain, they encounter a talking mushroom named Myko, who speaks in rhyming riddles and verses. Myko, with a cap adorned in rainbow hues, begins to recite a whimsical poem. Myko's words echo through the surreal landscape, adding another layer of peculiarity to their already fantastical journey. The stormy sprites come to this land vivid, where geysers paint with colors bright and bold. A talking fungus lifts its cap tremendous, its voice a song both day and night unfold. On nature's stage behold, the wonders grand where magic's hues unite in dance divine. Beneath the skies where stormy gusts expand, in hearts you enter as a guest most fine. In a delightfully bizarre turn of events, the Stormpixies found themselves face to face with a chatty mushroom that apparently moonlights as the inconspicuous gatekeeper to the underground headquarters of the Pixie Wood Syndicate, snugly nestled beneath the technicolor eruption of the Rainbow Geyser. As they bravely battle the boisterous forces of chaos and cacophony, their eyes twinkle with twisted laughter, and their hands hum with hocus pocus. To restore serenity to a world wobbling on the edge of utter absurdity, they must not merely flick their fingers, but fling forth their funny bones and fanciful folly. As they venture deeper into the fantastical realm beneath the surface, our intrepid explorers find themselves traversing landscapes teeming with bubbling mud pots that whispered secrets of ancient civilizations and steaming hot springs that brewed potions of luck and misfortune. At every twist and turn, lurking behind the shadows, were creatures straight out of a whimsical wizard's wildest spellbook. From fluffy bunnies adorned with shimmering laser eyes, to sentient mushrooms that eloquently recited Shakespearean sonnets in perfect iambic pentameter. In the convoluted labyrinth of chaos, each twist and turn revealed a fresh layer of absurdity, as the ragtag squad stumbled upon a peculiar sight, a group of brownie zombies. Enter bumbling Brit, the bard whose melodies could shatter glass and whose plans were as harebrained as they come. With a mischievous glint in her eye, she concocted a scheme so outlandish it could only work in a realm where logic took a vacation. Donning a makeshift ensemble of decaying flesh and green goo, she transformed into the epitome of a zombie brownie, ready to bamboozle even the most astute observer. Bounding forth with all the grace of a drunken flamingo, she pounced on an unsuspecting member of the Pixie Wood Syndicate, demanding answers in a tone that oscillated between theatrical menace and sheer confusion. The scene that unfolded was akin to a surrealist painting brought to life, with Brit's off-key warbles serving as the soundtrack to this bizarre interrogation. As she sought to navigate the maze through unconventional means, one couldn't help but marvel at the sheer lunacy of it all. The Stormpixie, armed with this newfound intel, began to flutter their wings like malfunctioning television screens. Descending upon the wicked sorcerers with all the grace of a flock of bedazzled bats on a top-secret mission, they ventured further into the geyser's underworld. The once lively mud pots, usually bubbling with enthusiasm akin to an overexcited puppy, were now spewing out steam instead of rainbows, as if they had attended a party where rainbows were, so last season. The fumes in the air were so potent that even skunks would have held their noses in disbelief at such olfactory audacity. Private Sparklebottom, accompanied by Sergeant Ember, strutted ahead with his rainbow polka dot cape fluttering behind him like a psychedelic kite in a hurricane. Meanwhile, Sergeant Ember flaunted his fiery prowess akin to a seasoned chef setting a soufflé ablaze. Any potential foes were not met with conventional weapons, but rather with a scorching spectacle that could outshine even the most extravagant fireworks show. In a plot twist so convoluted it made waiting for toast to pop feel like an eternity, they eventually reached the heart of the brownie sorcerer's lair. Here, amidst shelves stacked high with spell books and cauldrons bubbling over with mysterious concoctions, the true showdown between magic and mischief was about to unfold. In a realm where bubbling mud pots chattered incessantly like a gossiping parrot convention, and fumes so potent they could embarrass a skunk wafted through the air, our intrepid adventurers found themselves in a peculiar predicament, facing none other than the mischievous brownie leader, Stpixies. Commander Zephyr, whose strategic acumen rivaled that of a squirrel plotting an elaborate nut heist, and whose leadership skills were as sharp as a rubber spoon, fearlessly guided the Stormpixies through this hilariously perilous encounter with the brownie sorcerers. As the Stormpixies deftly closed in on the brownie necromancers who had dared to disrupt the sacred geyser, Commander Zephyr stood face to face with Lord Stpixies in an epic showdown of wits and magic. The air crackled with anticipation as Zephyr's Stormpixies prepared to overwhelm the mischievous brownie sorcerers in a display of fantastical prowess. With lightning-fast reflexes and a sprinkle of fairy dust, Commander Zephyr orchestrated a dazzling array of maneuvers that left Lord Stpixies and his cohorts bewildered. In a whirlwind of spells and mischief, the Stormpixies outmaneuvered the brownie necromancers, capturing them one by one until only Stpixies remained. In a final act of audacious wizardry, Commander Zephyr conjured a tempest of swirling elemental magic that struck Lord Stpixies with such force that his mustache quivered in disbelief. With a flick of her enchanted whip and a sprinkle of whimsical charm, she deftly turned his menacing scowl into a befuddled grin, causing him to trip over his own robes in a comical dance. Seizing the opportunity amidst the chaos, she wove strands of enchanted licorice into a sticky web, binding the bumbling brownie leader in a confectionery cocoon. The mischievous brownie lord, known for his grandiose schemes and penchant for mischief, found himself entangled in a sugary snare of his own undoing. As he struggled against the candy constraints, Commander Zephyr couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of their showdown. With a twinkle in her eye and a mischievous grin, she bid farewell to Lord Stpixies as he wriggled helplessly in his saccharine prison, his protests muffled by marshmallow fluff. Suddenly, the Stormpixie squad became aware of a new danger lurking in the depths of the geyser's underworld. The notorious brownies, known for their penchant for chaos and their tempers as foul as expired mermaid's milk, had deviously rigged the geyser to erupt in a spectacular display of magical mayhem. In a realm where chaos reigns and geyser disarmament is the talk of the town, Commander Zephyr leads her fearless Stormpixie squad on a quest to tame the unruly waters and restore peace to their enchanted abode. As they delve deeper into the mystical underworld of the geyser, they find themselves face to face with a motley crew of foes, from mischievous shadow dragons to sneaky drow, and even rabid rats with a penchant for dramatic flair. Commander Zephyr, with her impeccable sense of style and flair for the dramatic, summons gusts of wind that dance through the air like mischievous sprites, clearing a path through the swirling mists with a flourish that would make even the most seasoned magician envious. Meanwhile, Stormwing, with his wings crackling with lightning and an attitude to match, lights up their path with a dazzling display that could rival even the grandest fireworks show in all the realms. As they navigate this fantastical landscape filled with danger at every turn, Each member of this diminutive yet mighty group plays a pivotal role in overcoming the absurd challenges that stand in their way. With wit as sharp as their magical abilities, they press on towards their goal of disarming the geyser and putting an end to the chaos once and for all. Far ahead of the Stpixie squad, Private Sparklebottom, the forward scout with a rainbow obsession that put leprechauns to shame, whipped out his enchanted techno-dust like a magician on a glittery bender. In a bizarre twist of fate, Sparklebottom effortlessly summoned techno-rainbow bridges above simmering mud pots by simply wiggling his wrist and sprinkling some mysterious glittery substance around. No one really knows how. Why, you ask? Well, apparently there's something in those bubbling mud pots that poses a grave threat to the well-being of the Stormpixes. These bridges shimmered into existence in a psychedelic display of colors that would make even the most seasoned hippie jealous. Enter Sergeant Ember, a warrior so fiery he made dragons look like cute little lizards with anger issues. In a twist of fate as bizarre as a unicorn knitting socks, he made the bold decision to accompany Private Sparklebottom on a journey through the labyrinthine depths of a geyser's digestive system. His heart shone brighter than a searchlight in a black hole, and his fiery spirit rivaled that of a chili pepper eating hot sauce straight from the bottle. Why not add some heat to the scouting party? With his fiery powers ablaze, he marched behind him, ready to unleash his scorching flames upon any nefarious creatures that dared approach their fantastical path. As they traversed the surreal landscape, time seemed to stretch endlessly, akin to waiting for an elephant to leisurely dismount from one's chest. The duo at the vanguard of the Stormpixie expedition encountered all manner of magical beings, from mischievous imps that led wanton brownies astray, to unicorns offering them wishes for Bitcoin. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of whimsical escapades and fantastical encounters, Private Sparklebottom and Sergeant Ember reached the heart of the geyser's underworld. There, amidst swirling mists and crackling energy, they found themselves surrounded by an ominous magic bomb, pulsating with malevolent power, and a horde of brownie zombies with a craving for Stormpixie brain. With quick thinking and coordinated teamwork, Private Sparklebottom used his techno-dust to create a dazzling distraction, while Sergeant Ember unleashed torrents of scorching flames to keep the brownie zombies at bay. The battlefield was a spectacle of colors and chaos as magic clashed with fire in a mesmerizing display. In the end, as the last embers flickered out and the echoes of battle faded into the ether, Private Sparklebottom and Sergeant Ember emerged victorious and keep the zombies at bay. As the malevolent magic bomb brooded in its own darkness, it was suddenly bombarded by a relentless onslaught of rainbow-colored glitter hurled by a mischievous Stormpixie named Zephyrus Avon Twinkletoes. Private Sparklebottom and Sergeant Ember found themselves in a perplexing conundrum, pondering the sudden appearance and disappearance of this enigmatic creature, as if it had just popped out for a cup of tea with the Mad Hatter before vanishing into the Bermuda Triangle of whimsy. The bomb, bewildered and disoriented, found its sinister energies overwhelmed by the sheer positivity of the rainbow glitter, dispersing into a cloud of confetti. This unexpected turn of events left the remaining brownie zombies in a state of utter confusion as they abandoned their menacing ways to engage in an impromptu breakdancing session. Private Sparklebottom and Sergeant Ember, now unknowingly sporting party hats courtesy of Twinkletoes, decided to join in the fun. They danced through the geyser's underworld, dodging bubbles filled with fizzy soda and narrowly avoiding getting tickled by rogue feathers from a passing flock of flying pigs. Laughter echoed off the walls as tales of their bizarre escapades spread among the creatures of the underground. Just when they were convinced that the realm of oddity had reached its peak, they stumbled upon the remaining members of the Stormpixie squad loitering at the final rainbow bridge crafted by Sparklebottom. The air was filled with the sound of tiny thunder drums and lightning harps, while Stormpixies zipped around on miniature guitars, leaving trails of cotton candy clouds in their wake. Private Sparklebottom and Sergeant Ember were welcomed with open wings and promptly whisked away into a whirlwind of absurdity and merriment. And so, amidst the chaos of a Stormpixie rave at the Rainbow Bridge, our unlikely heroes found themselves once again united by whimsy and camaraderie, ready to face whatever ludicrous adventures awaited them next. In the whimsical realm of the enchanted forest, where unicorns prance under rainbow skies and talking trees gossip about the latest enchanted gossip, a dark cloud of doom cast its shadow over the land. Enter Stpixies, a mischievous brownie sorcerer with a penchant for stirring trouble and causing chaos with his mastery of necromancy and questionable fashion sense. Whispers of his wicked ways spread faster than a sneeze spell in pollen season, sending shivers down the spines of even the most fearless pixie warriors. One fine day, amidst a flurry of fairy dust and the melodious chirping of magical songbirds, a motley crew assembled at the Rainbow Geyser, a place so powerful that even the clouds paused to admire its beauty. Led by Fairy Queen Glitterwing, whose tiara sparkled brighter than a dragon's hoard under a laser. This ragtag group included the brave Stormpixie armed with lightning bolts crackling like popcorn on a hot skillet, and an energetic toaster named Toastertron the Burnt, who insisted on joining to supply snacks. Their mission? To hold Stpixies accountable for his crimes against nature, life, and good taste in spells. The trial was set to be more dramatic than a soap opera starring mermaids with stage fright and goblins who moonlight as stand-up comedians. As the clock ticked towards high noon, or whenever was most convenient for everyone's jam-packed schedules, whispers spread like wildfire that Stpixies had called upon a legion of cyber bunnies to stand by his side. These bunnies were said to be a peculiar blend of fluffy yet fearsome critters, known for their insatiable appetite for cyberware and a sprinkle of pixie dust. But Fairy Queen Glitterwing was undeterred, her wings shimmering with determination, as she raised her scepter high and declared in a voice as clear as crystal waters, "Let the trial of Stpixies commence. May magic guide our hearts and justice prevail like glitter in a snow globe." And so, dear reader, the stage is set for an epic showdown between good and not so good. As the infamous Stpixies was ushered into the courthouse, a floating pavilion situated atop the Rainbow Geyser, a deafening silence enveloped the crowd. The allegations against him were really bad, and they were piled up like a towering Jabberwocky, animating the deceased to perform his menial tasks, violating consecrated cemeteries, and tampering with the mystical balance of nature for his own twisted amusement. Her Majesty Queen Glitterwing, her wings twinkling with an otherworldly glow, cast a gaze of melancholy and determination upon Stpixies. She knew that fairness demanded justice be served, regardless of how formidable or shrewd the accused might be. In a voice as melodious as a magical flute, she declared, "Stpixies, you find yourself in a pickle of epic proportions. You are accused of transgressions against life's very essence." When the one and only Stpixies began to speak in the Rainbow Geyser's courtroom, a pin-drop silence swept through the crowd. The testimonies provided were as rock-solid as dragon scales. Witnesses shared fantastical stories of sheer terror and gloom resulting from his bewildering black magic. Fairy Queen Glitterwing, her wings sprinkling stardust like a typhoon in the rainforest, looked at Stpixies with a peculiar mix of sympathy and tough love. She knew that delivering justice was non-negotiable, whether the defendant was powerful or cunning beyond belief. With a voice as charming as an enchanted lute serenading under the moonlight, she questioned him. "Stpixies, me old bean. Here you are in deep soup. Accusations include messing with life's blueprint. How do you plead?" In a realm where enchanted beings roamed freely, Stpixies, with eyes that sparkled like cursed diamonds, took center stage in the mystical court. His voice, akin to a blend of silk and venom, wove tales of ancient pacts and forbidden knowledge, portraying himself as a misunderstood outcast on a quest for ultimate power. His words were like honeyed deceit sprinkled with powdered unicorn horns, attempting to sway the hearts and minds of all who listened. However, Fairy Queen Glitterwing, with wings that shimmered like a stack of America Online CDs under a spotlight, saw through his charade with her keen insight and unyielding commitment to justice. She sat upon her throne made of enchanted marshmallows and listened to Stpixies' twisted yarns without flinching, fully aware that behind his silver tongue lurked a darkness so deep, even the shadows feared it. As the defense finally decided to take a break from their theatrics involving dancing goblins and singing trees, Fairy Queen Glitterwing turned to her council of wise advisors, a group of fae folk that unwittingly emitted wisdom in the form of sparkling rainbow chat bubbles. Together, they floated in mid-air above the courtroom, their thoughts transmitting bubbles like an eternal rainbow of knowledge. After much deliberation filled with debates on whether to banish Spattergizzard to the land of eternal tickling or sentence him to community service scrubbing bedpans for mischievous imps, Fairy Queen Glitterwing finally reached a decision. With a wave of her scepter made from the horn of a narwhal dipped in moonlight, she pronounced Spattergizzard guilty of crimes against magic and sentenced him to spend eternity organizing the Library of Lost Spells while being serenaded by enchanted frogs. In a realm where unicorns trade wishes and mushrooms recite Shakespeare, Fairy Queen Glitterwing dropped the mic of justice on Spattergizzard. With a voice that could make even the most stoic gnome giggle, she declared him guilty of all charges, including the heinous crime of tarnishing all the rainbows in the Enchanted Forest and ruining everyone's tie-dye collection. The Enchanted Forest erupted into a cacophony of cheers and spells as glitter rained down from the sky, turning everyone's trash into dancing Elton John voodoo dolls. Spattergizzard's evil grin melted faster than ice cream on a dragon's breath as he was escorted away in handcuffs made of licorice twists and cheer to face his punishment. It was worse than being forced to spend an afternoon listening to bad fairy puns. Spattergizzard is to spend eternity organizing the Library of Lost Spells while being serenaded by enchanted frogs. In a whimsically peculiar twist of fate, the Enchanted Forest narrowly dodged its impending doom, all thanks to Fairy Queen Glitterwing's unmatched fashion flair and the Stormpixie's daring bravery. A ragtag team of Stormpixies, famously known as the Stpixies, celebrated for their knack for solving puzzles with lightning speed and their uncanny talent for singing completely out of tune, surprisingly emerged as the unlikeliest champions of the hour. Once upon a time in the Enchanted Forest, there lived a majestic rainbow unicorn named Starshine. Starshine was not your ordinary unicorn. She had dreams of soaring through the skies with her magnificent rainbow wings. However, there was a catch. In order to unlock her wings and achieve her ultimate destiny, she needed likes and subscribes from the creatures of the internet realm. Starshine knew that her fate rested in the hands of the online beings who scrolled through their devices day in and day out. So, she pranced through the Enchanted Forest, leaving a trail of sparkles behind her as she whispered to every woodland creature she met, "Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see me fly." The animals were puzzled at first by this strange request, but soon realized that Starshine's wings were no ordinary wings. They were powered by the digital approval of the internet dwellers. And so, word spread quickly through the forest about Starshine's quest for likes. Stormpixies tweeted about it, fairies posted on Instagram, and even the wise old owl created a TikTok dance to spread the message far and wide. The hashtag #LikeForStarshine began trending across all realms, drawing attention from every corner of the internet. As days turned into weeks, Starshine's following grew exponentially. Her videos of prancing in meadows and spreading joy captured the hearts of millions. The likes poured in like a digital waterfall, each one bringing her closer to unlocking her rainbow wings. And then, one fateful day, as the sun dipped below the horizon casting a golden glow over glittering meadows, it happened. With a shimmering burst of light, Starshine's wings unfurled in all their rainbow glory. She took flight for the first time, soaring high above the treetops as a chorus of likes echoed through the sky. From that day on, Starshine became known as the Rainbow Unicorn Queen of the Internet, inspiring creatures far and wide to remember to like and subscribe, not just for her, but for all magical beings seeking their place in the digital universe. And so ends our tale of Starshine, the rainbow unicorn whose destiny was shaped by likes and subscribes from an online world she never knew existed.